Genson, owner and founder of Genson Geriatrics Management. I'm a geriatric care manager. And my goal in this interview is to share with the public that the field of aging has a wide array of service providers to help meet the needs of your aging loved one. And today we are launching our monthly spotlight series. Each month, I'd like to conduct a short interview with someone who works with older adults, someone in some incapacities you're familiar with, others may shed light on a whole new way of looking at things. And all contact information will be provided at the end of the interview. We're kicking off this monthly spotlight series with Daniel Sagal, owner of Total Senior. And I'm going to allow Daniel to introduce himself and his business, but I'm excited to have him as my inaugural guest. Not only is he knowledgeable in his industry, he's committed to not only his clients, but the community as a whole. He's also incredibly personable and easy to work with. So Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, thank you for the opportunity and that wonderful introduction. I started Total Senior just over 8 years ago. We started off as a senior care referral agency specializing in assisted living, retirement homes, memory care communities, and residential boarding care homes. And we've kind of evolved into a senior care resource for all and for everything. And it's not a one-size-fits-all industry. Our goal is to help families understand the care options that are available to them, how to navigate this industry, and how to connect with worthwhile resources on an ongoing basis for their loved ones.
Okay, well, as a geriatric care manager, my clients typically want to stay in their homes for as long as possible. I try to accommodate this request by implementing various services to allow them to stay safe and independent at home for as long as possible. At what point in time should I encourage family members to contact you? In other words, what signs indicate it might be time for an older adult to consider a move from their own home?
I'm not a salesperson, and I try to stay away from the sales pitch, but my goal is always to be in touch with the family as early as possible. We are not going to push anyone or solicit them as a salesperson would. Our goal is to be advocates and talk about the pros and cons of making a move. So in many cases, people overlook the idea of making a move for simply having a need for care that's unaffordable in the home. Moving to a community goes far beyond needing care. There's the socialization aspect. There's the simple medication management, making sure you don't forget to take a dose of a pill that could knock you out of your daily routine. There is the idea of having restaurant-style dining, 3 meals a day that's built in. You order off a menu and you're dining with some of your closest friends or who will soon become your closest friends because they're your peers. You have activities and socialization. You have transportation available. You have housekeeping and laundry available. And so to each person, there's a different need. Widowers, whether they're male or female, may be experiencing different needs. Married couples may have different needs. And seniors in general are all different, living similar but different lives. And the accommodations and amenities that are available at each community really vary. And our goal is to simply figure out what's the right situation for anyone that's out there, and would they benefit from being in a community? If the answer is no, then we won't push them.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between encouraging a move to a community and what I see, unfortunately, all too frequently, waiting for that crisis or emergency to happen that then kind of ties one's hand behind their back and forces a move upon them. So that's great. That's great advice. But unbeknownst to many, there are actually quite a few options when it comes to senior housing. Can you give a brief description of what's out there and just quickly go over the difference between what's available?
Sure. So I've touched really quickly that one thing you mentioned a second ago is preventative care. And our goal is to really help you a plan for the preventative side. We're there to be reactive when necessary. And that's where it really trickles down to what kind of environment will be necessary based on what has already occurred. So in many cases, we get phone calls from people that say, I need a nursing home for my mother or my father. And
Exactly.
the biggest piece of education is nursing homes are not where your mother or father belong.
It's kind of
So
that old lingo has yet to leave us yet. So that's why
exactly. And
I'm
we
glad.
can take that lingo even further back because most families that are talk to their parents say, I don't want to go to a convalescent hospital.
Yes.
And then convalescent hospitals decades ago became nursing facilities. And now nursing facilities are being called rehab centers because it's more appealing. But really, they're the same thing, and they always have been for the most part, where they're designed for short term stays. So, nursing homes today are for short term rehab, typically covered up to 100 days through Medicare for PT, OT, speech therapy to get back on your feet and regain some independence after some kind of injury or situation occurs. Most nursing homes are not where you want to be long term unless you have a nursing need, which means you need medical care 24 hours a day, feeding tube, 24-hour IV, G tube, ventilator. Most seniors don't have that need. And so for most seniors, assisted living is the more appropriate option, where in assisted living, they provide non-medical care. What that means is they provide assistance with activities of daily living, which include medication management, dressing, bathing, grooming, uh, uh, toileting, escorting, transferring from a bed to a wheelchair. They can help individuals that are incontinent. They can help individuals that even have catheters or colostomy bags without having that medical on site. There are mobile services that can come in and assist with some of those services if necessary. They provide 3 meals a day, housekeeping and laundry, the activities, the socialization. And so that setting is for a senior that just needs assistance with their day-to-day activities. In a more intimate, proactive setting of care, which lacks activities the way that a large assisted living does, there's also what's known as residential boarding care homes. They're single family residences converted to 6-bed assisted living facilities. And typically they have 2 or 3 caregivers that take care of 6 residents. It's as close to one-on-one as you're going to get, but you're splitting the cost of that care with other residents in that setting. The cost of that setting is all inclusive, so it's a little bit easier to budget for some families long term. The downside to the setting is that most of the residents require so much care that they're not participating in very much activity. So there's not a big social model in that environment. Dignity and quality of life are really important to a lot of families. And so in that setting, an example of an activity might be to help sweep the floors or to help match colored socks of
Right.
your laundry to keep you busy and remind you of the things that you were responsible for when you were living alone. But they're really getting proactive care in that environment. Um, and then there's also a secured memory care. And that's for individuals that have a dementia or Alzheimer's diagnosis, some form of cognitive impairment, that are an elopement risk, would get lost in the community and not find their way back to their apartment or to their home, and need to be in a secured environment, mostly where they have indoor and outdoor space and the freedom to roam and be independent, but not get lost outside of the community while getting all the additional care they need, whether it's dressing or bathing or medication management, which typically is a part of the program.
Excellent. Excellent overview. And what steps do you and your team at Total Senior take to assure an appropriate fit and a smooth transition when it comes from moving or downsizing from a single family home into senior housing?
Well, we play many roles in this journey. Uh, the first piece of the puzzle is learning. We need to find out what's going on. I want to hear from the family member what's happening to their loved one, both physically, cognitively, emotionally, what effect it's had on their personality, what kind of hobbies they have. I want to extract as much information as I can because senior living is not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
Every community has different amenities. Some have pools, some have jacuzzis, some have bathtubs, some have stand up showers, some have roll up showers. Some have really big dining menus and Sunday brunches with champagne. Some have really a big emphasis on lectures and presentations from university professors. Some are more of the prototypical bingo type of communities. We need to find out more about the seniors that are relocating in order to be helpful in identifying the right solution for their care. So we'll typically have a conversation anywhere from half hour to 2 hours and learn as much as we can about that family. And also what's important to the children or the nieces or the grandchildren or to those that'll be visiting their loved one to find out what's the right fit for you to visit your loved one. Where are you most likely to visit them as often as possible because they would love to see you once they relocate.
Yeah, it's so great that essentially your service is taking all of the legwork out for the prospective resident and family members. It also sounds exactly what you've just described. It's a perfect fit for where a geriatric care manager like myself could benefit your client. Because if your client needs additional resources outside of housing, or if they're moving and have no local family, I, for example, could provide the oversight to not only enforce a smooth transition, but continue a relationship to make sure that they thrive in their new community. But back to the question that I'm sure is most commonly asked and on people's mind: what's your fee?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We do not charge the families that we work with. We have gone out and most importantly, we have pre-screened all the communities that are out there that are available to families. We've had dedicated staff. We all work within our own communities. All of our team members that either work in Ventura County, live in Ventura County, those that work in LA County, live in LA County, and we go out and learn about the options that are out there in significant detail. We contract with those options at a very reasonable rate where they pay us a referral fee when one of our clients moves in. Our goal is to do that in a very unbiased way. And so we've structured our company operations to where every team member has the same incentive regardless of how much a family is spending. Our goal is not to spend a family's money just to get them in somewhere more luxurious. Our goal is to find the right fit and continue to be a resource to that family and anyone else they may know in the future that might need our support. Now, we get a question all the time of, will it would cost us more because they need to pay your fees? And the reality is no. Most of these communities have already used a pro forma to anticipate their cost of doing business, and they've entered our fees into that pro forma. And in most cases, our referral fee is less than that of many other online agencies or other local companies. So our clients not only have all the options available to them because of our reasonable fees, but they also have priorities on beds because it costs that community less to pay our fees than many of our competitors. So our goal is just to be transparent, be the family advocate, and we've set up our operations to where we can do that in a very ethical way with bringing integrity and compassion to the table.
Oh, love it. So, Daniel, I want to thank you again for being Genson Geriatric Management first spotlight of the month. I want to close out by telling people how they can contact you.
Sure. So we have our website, of course. It's totalsenior.com. You're welcome to call our main office line at 818-570-1087 and reach out to either our Ventura County or LA County team, or talk to anyone and we'll figure out where you belong from there.
All right.
But you can see us on social media also if you're looking for just daily information and content and interesting news articles.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for shedding insight on senior housing and what's out there and what's available.
Thank you, Amy. We
All
love
right.
working with you and your team as well.
Oh, thanks, Daniel. All right. Well, we're signing off for now. We'll see you next month. Thank you.